Hour and a half, you said 11 o'clock, but it's really busy, so give or take some time there. But they'll be giving us another update. Speaking of updates, let's go to the KICC where Laban Cliff Onsario has been the whole day. There have been some updates coming from the Jubilee Team Secretariat on the concerns that have been raised. Anything we can expect tonight?
Hi, Mark and Vicky. Yes, indeed, coming to you live from the Kenyatta International Conference Center, which I'm, by the way, told that is since changed name, which is MOVE, Kenya Moja Center. Ideally, kind of a change of tune right here in the party taking a more cohesive approach, especially in these tense times, even as we expect the IEBC to release the final results. Mark, as you asked, yes, nothing major to expect tonight, because where I'm standing at right now is the press center and will since be closed tonight. And what we're meant to understand is that by 7 o'clock tomorrow, we should be back here. So that kind of means that we should not be able to expect anything from the Jubilee Secretariat right here at KICC, or shall I say Kenya Moja Center at this moment. Well, ideally at this point in time, Mark, what we expect to do now is ideally just wrap up and then, of course, reconvene tomorrow. Nothing major. What you'd expect, of course, what we had earlier on was a press briefing at around 8 o'clock in the morning by Raphael Tuju right on this very stage. So what we actually understand is that the Secretariat has chosen to remain a bit tight-lipped and, of course, wait for all communication from the IEBC. But Mark and Vicky, I should also mention that, as I mentioned earlier, of course, in other briefings, that indeed, this very premise will be the space where President Uhuru Kenyatta will either concede defeat or have his victory speech right at this very premise, because we also witnessed the preparations ongoing right here at this very venue on just different movements around, of course, speaking to officials. They say that perhaps at this very moment we cannot confirm on anything. All we have to do is speak once we have the final results from the IEBC. I should mention that also, and I can quote Dennis Tumbi, who's the communication strategist for the Jubilee Party, is that they have also been in discussions with some of the winners under the Jubilee Party ticket, who we actually kept our ears and eyes on the ground, just trying to talk to them, because as we notice a lot of movement here, we just tried to speak to some of them. Most of you, of course, would recognize, would speak to a few of the winners who've managed to clinch a few victories, or shall I say, unrivaled victories in and without of Nairobi. But we did not manage to get a few of those. But of course, Mark, Vicky, we expect that tomorrow, of course, as we go along, we might just speak to some of the aspirants who've emerged victorious under the Jubilee Party ticket. Over to you.
Laban, before you wrap up, in case you can hear me, what was the last word, at least briefing, that was given from the KICC, from the Jubilee Secretariat?
Mark, the last word, well, if I should just make sure I comment on the official word we got from the Secretary General, was that, of course, the results that we've been seeing are official and they are comfortable with the results. They appeal for calm, they appeal for cohesion. They are also very well kind of surprised and also, shall I say, elated with a few results from different regions, just to mention Kisii, of course, Meru, just to name but a few. But that's exactly as it were at around 8 o'clock in the morning from the Secretary General. But of course, keeping our ears and eyes on the ground, what we actually meant to understand is that, of course, there's just a lot of preparations ongoing in and without of KICC. Again, I would say Kenya Moja Center, as we have been rightfully told. So it's just word on the ground, I should mention, that ideally the Jubilee Party will use this very premise for all communication, for all speeches, and of course some aspirants are expected tomorrow, and of course we'll be here right to have a word with them, and of course especially who are the winners, because what I've meant to understand is that most of them are in consultative meetings just ongoing, even as we expect the results. Mark?
Thank you, Laban Cliff Onsario at the KICC, what you say is now being called Kenya Moja Center, where the Jubilee will be given their briefings, and some concessions or victory speeches being given from there expected tomorrow. Definitely. NASA, on the other hand, say, or at least some of the sources close to the top say that they will be giving their briefings tomorrow morning from 10 a.m. If anything changes, we'll be updating you on that.